Welcome y'all to the Reality or Not Special Edition podcast. How you doing, Ed? What's going on with you?
I'm all right, man. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. You in tune with your boy DJ Reality. You know how we do it out here. Sundays, fun days. But yeah, man, wanted to get this podcast going with a special review of the Snoop Dogg Doggystyle album. I always loved this album. I always thought it was like one of the dopest. Like it's probably one of the first albums I feel like I play from front to back and don't have any skips. I mean, of course, you know, you have your favorite songs, but at the same time, it's literally one of the albums that I put on and I don't stop it until it gets towards the end. But what's your feelings about this album?
Yeah, I concur. It's probably my favorite album. Uh, if I'm forced to choose a favorite album, this is definitely a strong consideration. Like you said, played front to back. Came out in '93. I think I was what 10th, 11th grade.
Mhm.
Uh, no, I think it's a dope album all the way through. Um,
And then you camp for this album, or you had to go and pick it up? I remember you said something about that.
no, that was we were down in Alabama for Thanksgiving because my great grandma had a stroke. So it came out that Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and
Hmm.
I tried to go to the music store on Monday,
Hmm.
and they didn't. They hadn't dropped it, and my cousin said we could come back when she got off of work on Tuesday, and I was like, "Nah, it's gonna be gone by then."
Hmm.
And she was like, "Nah, it ain't." Then the little lady at the register was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be gone." So my cousin got up early in the morning, took me to go cop it.
That's crazy. You don't even hear. Well, I mean, I don't see a way of albums selling out anymore. But I mean, you know, not being able to actually find it on the shelf, which is like
Right.
crazy to me. Like, you know, you have a whole like you can because I think it's so what 800 what 825 or 800K plus the first week. You know,
Okay.
which is what I think is isn't that still or what did or did 50 pass it? I think it's the largest debut for a hip hop album from what I remember. So
Yeah, I think 50 probably outsold it because yeah, Snoop did 806,000 his first week,
mhm.
close to 807. I think 50 did what 850.
Okay, probably somewhere around there. But that's just crazy that you know I was
But it
kind
was
of
a
talking
different
about
era too.
a whole in that part because I mean the anticipation for 50 was so high, but the anticipation I mean I still feel like if I wanted to go and buy 50 CD, I mean, it's probably a bit larger orders or however they do that. But
Right,
I feel like I could still go and find it on the shelf. Like it wasn't like I was having a hard time finding that CD. Like Snoop was literally everybody had to get it, and
right, right.
he got one of those
Yeah,
unique careers, man. It's like listening to it. I was I was I was listening to it like all last week and the week before, and I was thinking, I was like, damn, like, I mean, he's on there as far as like, you know, his voice is on there, but like Dre ain't on there rapping, you know, so it wasn't
right,
as if he had to have like that cosign to like he didn't have to have Jay-Z featured on 4 tracks just to make sure you went and bought the CD or having
right.
a specific artist that was bringing them out. Like he literally, not to say that he did it on his own because it was like a collective with, you know, Dog Pound, Rage, uh, just a bunch of
Yeah,
artists that was different
RBX.
artists
Yeah,
at the time that all contributed. But it was like it was Snoop's project on his own, and then really outside of the production with Dr. Dre, you know, it was his coming out party.
right.
Um, and I was looking at something. I'm like, damn, it said like Snoop. So there might have been maybe 20 or 30 million records worldwide, and this was like his largest selling one out of. And
Mm,
if you look at Snoop catalog was crazy. Like Snoop got like 20 plus albums, and you know,
yeah,
like, and this is I think this one at the time I think it maybe sold maybe 5 or 7 million. I know it sold a lot. I got to look at the math on it, but just for this to be damn near a quarter of all of his sales out of all the albums that he dropped is just dope in itself. But But we could jump right into it.
Clearly credits to the fact that the rest of that shit was trash. But go
I
ahead.
mean,
We're gonna get into the album.
no. I mean, you got I look. I did some deep diving into this album as far as like I listened. I listened to all albums around this time that was like associated with Death Row at the time, like, and then even his albums like after that. I didn't go that far, but I listened to the Dogfather, which was his next album, and you could see a significant change in the sound of the music of what he had off of his debut versus without Dre. So,
Yeah,
so but I man,
definitely.
what was your feelings on the Dogfather? We ain't got to go too deep into it, but yeah.
Man, I ain't buy that trash. And then somebody in college, because that came out what I said, that came out a week after the Machiavelli album came out.
Mm-hmm.
This one dude, he had bought it at college. He asked me, did I want to buy it? I was like, I'm not helping you correct your mistake. Um, like, nah, I've never listened to the Dog Fight. I had no, I think, I can't remember what the interview was now, but I read an interview and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, I'm not buying it. Like, it just, I said about Snoop, I said, like, Nas gets a lot of criticism, a lot, because even Jay said, like, everybody gives him credit for, like, Illmatic, and then people will say, like, his catalog, like, is lacking after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't necessarily agree with that with Nas. I think you could definitely say that about Snoop. And I know there's some other albums that came along, like The Last Meal, Blue Carpet, Treatment, and all of that. But, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Snoop has. I don't think Snoop has come close to Doggy Style. Like I said, it's funny. Like I think some of that. I just think some of the criticism that Nas has got. I'm like, you could apply that to Snoop too.
Oh,
Um,
you could apply to him heavily.
yeah,
I
like I
mean,
just
because even was it No Limit Top Dog and the games to be sold, not to be told. I feel like it took him Dogfather, them two albums I just mentioned, to get to the last meal to
yeah
figure out like his voice.
yeah
You know, and I feel like Dre gave him that like off the rip. Like Snoop, the one thing
yeah
that's dope about the one thing that's dope about him is that I don't think he realized it, but his voice, in my opinion, is like the instrument. You know, it's the thing that makes
oh
you
yeah
pay attention to him. You know, not to say that you don't do that with other artists, but like Snoop's voice is. I mean, I was listening to Dogfather, and I was like, and luckily I bought Dogfather at Tower Records back then, and Tower Records let you
oh yeah
return
you can
CDs.
return it yeah
So, but the thing that was dope about his, like, he really rides the beat very well, and I think he started to not ride the like he was starting to be kind of off. You know, even if it was from listening to the Dog Food album, it just like something didn't seem the same once Dre was gone.
yeah
And I think he did decent on a Dog Food album, on a Dog Pound album, but
mhm,
I felt like it was starting to go down. And
yeah
as far as like his voice being the main, you know, trigger for me to listen to his music. So,
yeah. I mean, because this is even stuff that Snoop would do today. And like you said, if he get with have a good beat with it, like you said, his voice, he still got the flow. I mean, he has a flow. Like you said, it's
Snoop can
no
spit.
flow. Like,
Yeah, Snoop can spit. Yeah.
but it's just like you said, it's probably like you said, probably because I think I was talking to somebody and mentioned like um Dad's probably doing a lot of ghost production, especially on this Doggy Style album, and you heard some of that on the Chronic album. And as I didn't really think about it when I was talking to the person, is like, well, I was thinking, thought back to the conversation before we started this podcast. I was like, it was kind of probably trying to do it was kind of discrediting like Dre to a degree, but I think in some regards, like even if Daz did a lot of ghost production on that Doggy Style album, to what you say, you could still feel the fact that Dre's imprint, like he was gone from Death Row, and you
Mm-hmm.
could see how that impacted Snoop with like Dogfighter. Because Dogfighter, like I said, I've heard snippets of the album, but like, though that album was like I think early in Nas's career, you think about like his first 4 album run, like because I think we talked about it when we went through Illmatic. Like I don't think It Was Written was a bad album. I think if you want to go with Nas, like those first 4 albums, probably the worst one was I Am. Um, which it says between I Am and not I Am, the
Wait,
one that came
Nostradamus?
Nostradamus,
Okay, okay,
Nostradamus,
okay.
and uh, Nostradamus was bad. I don't think it was as bad as Dogfather though.
I bet.
Like,
Listen, not I was listening to Dogfather, and Dogfather had to have been like, if I, it was like 15 or 20 tracks, and it just
yeah,
wasn't connecting. Like it was some songs. It was. I would say out of that album, I probably like maybe 3 or 4 songs out of the 20, or however many songs on
yeah,
the album. But back to this one, it's like, and even you had mentioned the Ghost production. It's like, what exactly does that mean? Like, and I get it, but it's like I feel like in a way I was trying to find like a concrete answer. And and Dre said I produced it, Snoop said he produced it, and Snoop said one line, he was like, well, he's like, they may have contributed beats, but once Dre put his signature on the track, like that's what made the track come to life. So he
yeah.
was essentially saying like, the beats was cool, but until he told them how to do the songs, how to have it arranged and stuff like that, like that's when the track came to life. Um,
And I'd
so
be more inclined to believe that with Dre doing that, like Dad's coming in with maybe just because Daz was just starting out, some unpolished beats and all that, like
mhm,
and all that. I'm pretty sure Daz learned a lot from Dre. That like
mhm,
that helped like develop the sound that he ended up having. But yeah, I could see that with Daz could come with a beat that like probably Dre saw the greatness in the beat, and Dre
mhm,
was like, oh, if we do this, if we do this, hey, bring these levels up, do this, add this kick in here and all that,
mhm.
like I could see Dre doing that. In which case, like I mean, and I don't know some of that stuff I look at. Like I think for some of them young producers, like I'd have to look at the production credits of Doggy Style when we go through this. But I think I remember Kanye talked about it with Derek D. Dot. Like I think in some regards,
I was about
like
to bring that up too. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, like when you start out in the industry, like you kind of like you working with a Dre, you working with a Derek D. Dot, like they come in and like remaster out your whole beat. Like maybe you had the like skeletons to it and the bones in it, but they come and flesh it out. And that's just to me, that's just the paying the dues part where like, hey, Dre's name gonna be on there. Like it might be first on there, maybe you don't get credit, but like if you're dope enough and you saw like Kanye went on, Daz went on, like Daz is a renowned producer. Like
Hmm.
Daz ain't heard it. Like and people like I think people know that if you're talented, like it's gonna shine through in your future productions. But like, yeah, Dre, Derek D, Dot, all them might come in and be like, and they might look at it as like, man, your beat was okay,
Hmm.
but I know what I'm doing and I know how to make your beat a
Yeah, and
classic beat. So
they
yeah,
can
my
they can
name
take
is on here.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
like
and
you.
and Snoop sells better at that point in time with Dre on there as a producer than it does of a Daz. And don't get me wrong, I
Yeah,
mean, I look at
yeah,
it like this, right? And sometimes you gotta look at it from the standpoint of what did Daz do without if it's any Ghost production, what did Daz do after without Dre being mentioned versus Dre being listed as a producer? And it's like it feels like it's light years difference as far as the quality of music that you got. And don't get me wrong, I love
yeah,
the Dog Food album, but even Dre on that album, I think he mixed the whole thing. I know he mixed most of it. Um, but having him on there just mixing and making sure that everything is good within the music is took that album to another level where they released albums after that and it just wasn't the same. um, so
yeah. I think, and I probably can't realize something that says I got an older like and Puff kind of
I put Puff in there too.
brought us into too. Yeah, like being a producer isn't just that you made the beat. like being a producer is like you arrange the song. You like where like say even with Puff, like Puff probably musically probably contributed less than say like a Dre or a D Dot did for like uh Daz and Kanye. But like Puff came in and Puff would come and be like, put the hi hat here.
Mm-hmm.
Like so he like but the thing about it is like that hi hat that just seems small,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a beat. Like for like and I don't know everything that Puff did, but you like let's say with um
When you
the
heard a Puff
remix, the
production, you knew it was a Puff production.
yeah. Like and it was little things like I can imagine with the flavor in flavor in your air remix where it opens with like bad boy, you got the little bottles clinking. That's some
Mm-hmm.
shit that Puff Hardy came in and said like, hey, and you probably like on the surface like it seems small, man, but now when you hear that bad boy, you know that beat about to drop and big about to come in,
Mm-hmm.
like and it's a producer just I mean like it's a it's an orchestra, it's a band. Like you're the as a producer, you're the conductor. So you're coming in, you're saying like this goes here, and you got some who do it all. Like well, somebody like a Drake can do it all. But like Daz first started out, like I mean, if you were to get like be like Daz, and I know Kanye, like well, I don't know what Kanye would say now, but like you take them if they're being honest, they probably say like man, working under those two producers like helped them a lot going forward in their careers. Um, and I mean, so like I said, I think and I don't know how we got on that, but I think you know, Daz, I like you know, Daz does his thing, but like you said, you
Yeah, no,
can,
that's cool. But I'm just saying, like, when you like, but this is
but
from
it's
my,
like you,
it's a credit thing, right? If you, if niggas said Snoop Dogg's album Doggy Style was whack, I'm pretty sure nobody would be coming out saying, "But I produced it."
right,
You know,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
like
That's how I
yeah,
was just looking at it. Like, but since the album is so revered and everybody loves it, it's like, well, I did the beat on that. I did the da
yeah,
da da on that. Or I did. I feel like it's more of that. Like, and that's why, like even the Derek D. Angeletti, like he said it. He's like, yo, I put the songs together. So that was me
yeah,
producing. You know what I'm saying? Kanye came in
hmm
and produced or made beats. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference between making beats and actually producing the artist and the music. So
right,
it's always, like I said, if it was whack, nobody would take credit for it.
nah,
Like
because
I haven't heard
you
one
don't hear.
producer say, "Dog, I'm the man," because I think DJ Pooh produced on there, Das produced on there.
Yeah, I was
Um,
about to say, I ain't heard Dad say nothing about producing on Dogfather.
yep.
He tell
So
you he did work on the Chronic and Doggy Style though.
yep, yep. And he talked
Dogfather
about it. I
crickets.
ghost produced on both of them. It's like nigga,
Yeah,
like dog. We knew who was the driving force behind that. But all that being
yeah.
said, all right, man, let's jump into it. So first thing we have is or number one, bathtub. Uh, the that skit it sampled uh what was it? What's the name of that movie? The Mac. Talking about like you want to get out the game and all this stuff. So it was kind of cool. It was like and that's what I always say about like this album, like, or even you can go even to the Chronic, or it was like similar to how we describe Raekwon, like it was like watching a movie, right? But it was
Right,
like
right.
a gangster movie for them. So it was like he was in a bathtub, chick him the massage and all this stuff. But it leads right into, you know, the joint where it's just pretty much just rage rapping. But I'll let you jump into it before I jump to number two. So
No, I mean, you said it ain't a whole lot to say. It's just, open the album up. Like, you
mhm.
want to get out the game? It's the
Yeah, that
game, man. You want to
yeah.
leave?
Dog, we was all about watching movies and shit. So it was kind of like,
Yeah.
and then too, it was adding to the movies that we was watching. Like I don't I don't think I saw the Mac before I had
Nah,
listened
yeah.
to this movie or listened to this
Nah,
CD. So
not all. Yeah, nah. It was, like you said, I mean, it was a cool little intro. Like you said, it was out there on the West Coast. They was on that pimp shit and, Snoop in the tub and getting shoulder massage, ringing the doorbell, messing the floor up. I did when I was going back through and listening. So I was like, yo, so did my man come in while Snoop was just in the tub? Because it don't sound like Snoop got out the tub. So did your
He
man
did
just, you
not.
just, Snoop sitting in here in a tub and you just walking in, like having a conversation with him? Like,
You exit the game, man. You better come
yeah.
on in.
Like, yeah, you talking about exiting the games, man, balls hanging out. Like I hope the Suns,
With the
I
chick,
hope
she
the
probably
Suns
got
was heavy in
$2
that
on
tub.
them,
Yeah, man. I hope the Suns lasted for the entirety of that conversation. Like, dang,
Hell
man.
no, but no, that was just it was a cool intro for him, and like I said, even us listening to it at the time, like I didn't understand, like being that young, I didn't understand the reference until I watched the movie,
Yeah,
because so it was even doper to see something relate to something else that impacted him. So then it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna watch the Mac. I'm gonna watch the Mac's Revenge, or I mean, all of these
mm-hmm.
black exploitation films that was out back in the day. Not Mac's Revenge, Dolomite's Revenge, Dolomite, all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
It was kind of like I started going down that rabbit hole. Then it was kind of like it reminds me like with almost with Cube, where I started like looking for the samples that the music came from. So I was listening to not Earth, Wind and Fire, but well, I was listening to Earth, Wind and Fire too, but not like that. But I was listening to
right.
Isley Brothers' Greatest Hits. Like that was one of
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
tapes I got from fucking Columbia House and all them niggas. So
Mm-hmm.
um but yeah, man, that was a time. So jumping right into track number two, that is G Funk intro and Rage rap mainly on that one. How do you feel about that track?
Oh man, greatest female rapper of all time. Nah, let me quit playing. No, I mean Rage was dope, man. And I thought like the intro, like I imagine come on RAG to the motherfucking E back with my nigga S and double OP. No, it
Yeah,
was just like,
stop.
yeah, no, I'm talking about like you think about album come up 93, we 16, like yeah, 16. Man, you putting this boy in the box, man, like you get the little bathtub and then you just get Rage rapping hard as hell, like the beat hard, like even now, man, just putting it back in the car now, like, and even like I said, the funny thing is like bathtub, it's just a skit, and it's a skippable skit. You ain't gotta listen to it. You could go
Mhm.
right into it if you want. Like they didn't do the thing where they merged the track and forced you to listen to it, but you
Mhm.
listen to that to just because you went up with the slick talking, and you just go right into the intro of Rage, and like it was dope. It was dope. It was when to me sometimes when you think about like dope first tracks intros on like rap albums, this
Mhm.
is one of them. Like
One thing
like
I
this can
saw,
fucking album off. Go ahead, my fault.
no, let's say one thing I saw. It said that Dr. Dre mixed all of the intros and stuff within 48 hours because it had to be turned in by a certain period of time. I'm like, God damn. So he just
Damn.
literally went through and mixed and mastered like as much as he could within 48 hours. And this is what we got.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy. Hey,
So, but no, that's
yeah,
and it was a dope part too to like if I was to bet on I would have thought that either Rage would have been up next as far as the CD that's going to be put out, or
yeah,
RBX. And it was like,
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that the Dog Pound came out because, dog, if you look at the window that Death Row had, man, it was such a short window, but it was very impactful
Hmm.
because you're talking the Chronic to shit. I don't want to say Dogfather. I don't really even include Dogfather in that. I include Machiavelli, which was came out a week before,
Yeah,
but I don't include Dogfather in that window. I just feel like anything that had. Now I don't even want to say that too, but
and
I
that
was
window died November 5th, 96.
yeah, because I was gonna say I don't want to include anything without Dre, but at the same time, like Machiavelli was was without Dre, but it was definitely an impactful album, But
Yeah,
so, but. But nah, that just showed to me like, like, if I was to bet on, I would have thought that either Rage would have been up next as far as, the intros and stuff within 48 hours because it had to be turned in by a certain period of time. Like I said, he just literally went through and mixed and mastered like as much as he could within 48 hours. And this is what we got. So, but nah, that just showed to me like if you even because looking at the Chronic or whatever, there was songs on there that didn't have Dre on them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And this song damn near didn't have Snoop on it. Like uh, hit you with the intro to the G Funk era. Like he literally said like 4 bars on this song,
right. Yeah,
and then jumped right into Gin and Juice after that. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy that like and it's a. I feel like listening to this album, the songs are not too long and they're not too short either. It's just enough to make you
hmm
pay attention. But
right.
it didn't you didn't miss any, you didn't wish like the song played longer. It was just a perfect
hmm
blend of music.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but
Mhm.
so what about Gin and Juice?
I like Gin and Juice. It was what the second single off the album, had the video and all of that. I think when
Mhm.
I was like going back to listen to this, I was like, oh man, am I really feeling Gin and Juice like that? Then when it came on, I was rapping the words like I was like, nah, this song is dope.
Mhm.
Like you probably got a little bit oversaturated with it just because it was second single and it was probably it's probably the most popular song off the album. You talking about commercially. Um, so you just hear you. I mean, you heard it a lot. Um, but going back and listening to it, it was. Then you think about the video. Talking about got party going at 6 in the morning, and they ain't going. No, it ain't going home to 6 in the morning.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. It's yeah. This album doesn't have too many stumbles to me,
Mhm.
and like this is one of the songs like it. And ain't really no. Man,
It
if
blends
you
very well within the album, like from from the G Funk intro to this.
yeah
And wasn't this the one where I can't remember what was Ricky Harris at the beginning of the video? Because if so, this is the one with Bow Wow in the video, jumping on the couch. Was that Gin and
yeah
Juice?
yep that
Okay.
was Gin and Juice. Yep, yeah.
So that's and
Yeah.
another part about you had Bow Wow. I didn't like Bow Wow was the nigga in well we'll talk about that later, but the little boy be like, "Hi, Snoop."
Classroom. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just crazy to see that Bow Wow was around then. You know what I'm saying? To where because Bow Wow is what he got to be in his 30s, about to hit the 40s. But it's just you know the how early on he was in the game. I mean, even from the Arsenio Hall show, but it's just interesting to see like they had Bow Wow in the studio in 93, 90. Well, this came out in 93, so they had
Yeah.
Bow Wow in the studio in like 92. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Trying to, record as a kid. So, but hey, did you ever? I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Just random topic. But did you ever hear the song that Bow Wow recorded with Death Row?
No, I don't think so.
Nigga,
Uh,
like Bow, Bow Wow is talking cash shit about hoes and bitches and like
mm,
I found it. I heard it might have been on Facebook or something like that. I think I might have put it in a story or something like that. But Bow Wow is talking cash shit. The nigga couldn't have been no more than 5 years old.
dang.
I'll send it to you. Like he was
Yeah.
talking cash shit, and he had like a little. I'll send it to you. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I'll shoot that to you. Send that shit to you later. But no, I love gin and juice, man. It was probably the reason why I've ever because I don't like gin at all, and that's probably the
Nah.
reason why I don't like gin. I was drinking gin. That was the first thing I tried to drink while I was in college, and I just that shit never sat well with me. And I was like, why am I drinking this if all of these other lovely forms of alcohol are out there? And nigga, like I haven't drank gin since my first year of college, and that's
Gin is
all attributed to
disgusting.
Snoop.
Yeah.
So. But and it was a dope ass video too. That was a video I want to say he was riding on the
Love the
handlebars
bite.
with his crowd.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it
Yeah.
was just some cool shit, man. Like Snoop was the dope. Like Snoop I always say is our George Clinton. I've said this for years. Like he's
Yeah. I can see that.
he transcends time. Like
Yeah.
I mean you see it now. Like Snoop goddamn got Corona. You got Snoop
hmm
and Snoop was in the Olympics, man. I never would have thought that Snoop would be in the, like be doing Olympic
Yeah.
commentating. You know what
He
I'm
was
saying?
at the
Snoop was
Trump
just that
inauguration.
right. Snoop was just that dude. He was always that cool dude. So that's why I never understood like what happened with Dogfather because I feel like, and I mean I want to stick to this album, but it just felt like Snoop I don't know, became less confident in his voice and more confident in the beats. And it was like, well, no, Snoop commanded the beat. Like you listen to Snoop.
Right.
Like I was listening to what's the song off the Above the Rim soundtrack with him and Daz. Um, shoot, I even listened to the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. And it was just like man, Snoop had it. The 21st Street, 21st Street, First Street, wearing
Oh
all white.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking
Me,
about.
the
Yeah.
hardest niggas roller realer than the Mill McCoy. So step with your rep. Like I fucked with what's the nigga name from the LBC crew?
Shady.
Yeah, I fuck with Trey D and shit. Like until like them Snoop albums came, but the 213 albums. But all that being said, like they had it within that death row window where they were just killing it all around. Um,
Yeah, they did. Nice short run.
yeah. What we got next? We got
The shit,
oh
isn't
W
it?
Balls. If
Oh
you
yeah,
really
W balls.
W
Yeah.
Balls, everybody's gotta be the shit. I'm W Balls, W Balls. And that led directly in that was cool. I mean, he passed, so RIP, but Ricky Harris, like I used to love him on Def Comedy Jam, and I didn't realize how intermingled. I mean, I remember seeing him in videos and stuff like that with Def Row, but he's damn near
Yeah.
on. He's on this album. He's on the Murders of Case soundtrack. He's on the Dog Pound album. I don't know if he made Tupac or Pac's album, but you know what I'm saying. He was just all within the Death Row fold as far as
Yeah.
a comedian or whatever, just on damn near everything and shit. But um, but yeah, W Ball is one of my favorite intros. But what's the name of my favorite song? Probably my favorite song from Snoop is the Shiznit.
Yeah,
Uh,
mine too. Yeah.
I just feel like he was just riding the beat, like so. And this is like a perfect example of a song that you know it's not a commercial song. It's not a. I feel like it's whenever I say Snoop got lyrics, I always say listen to this song if you want to hear
Mhm.
like Snoop can spit, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but what's your feelings on this one?
Nah, this is probably my favorite joint too. Actually, I still remember him performing this on our Arsenio Hall. So, um, nah, like you said, it's the like I said, if somebody wants to tell you that Snoop got bars, this should be the song that they put out. Like you said, the beat was hard. Like I said, it was just Snoop right in the beat. Like it was. Now it was just Snoop spit. I can't even remember if there was a chorus on this song. Um, I think it was just Snoop spit, but
I don't think
this
it's a
is
chorus.
yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think there was. Like I said,
I don't
this
think no
is
chorus on this one.
it's probably my favorite Snoop Dogg.
Mm.
Um, I mean my favorite Snoop song. Yeah, just the beat in my head. Like I said, the beat, the lyrics, everything was on point with it. Like, excuse me, there ain't nothing really bad I could say about. I can't say anything bad about it. Nah,
I'm
it
trying to think
was.
the Domino intro. Well, Domino motherfucker, what's happening? That's all I can think
Yeah,
about when I hear like a West Coast nigga anyway and shit. But you know what I'm saying? Ain't too much I got to say on that one. I mean, I just it's just an intro and shit.
nah. The only thing I pulled from that was at the end. I feel like I
Is that the
heard
one we
this,
say
but
easy come, easy go? Oh, when cause I think they was kind of going at was it Tim Dog or it might be, is it Tim
no,
Dog, Luke or Easy E on that one? Because Dre was talking on there.
yeah, because at one point one said like, "Oh, HIV having ass, nigga, something," and it made me think real quick. I was like, "Nah, I thought Easy E got HIV in like '95 and died like 42 hours later," and I was like, "Oh." And that's when I was like, "Oh, I think they was talking about somebody else," but it just so
Yeah,
happened
and
that
hey, did you
Easy.
ever see that that Suge Knight? I think it might have been Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. It was like a Suge Knight interview, and he was talking about he pretty much alluded that he stuck Easy E with a AIDS needle and shit.
Nah, I didn't see that. Come on, nah, I didn't see that.
Oh, that shit is I mean, that's a video, nigga. Like I got a litany of things to send to you, and that's one thing too, man. It's like, and I want to kind of talk about that. Like, how do you feel like within this? I mean, we'll keep going through the album, but like Suge Knight's impact on the music game at this point in time.
I'm I don't know, man. Suge was just a bully, man. Like, man, like Suge. I mean, man, if Suge wasn't in the picture, Dre probably would have never left Death Row. Death Row probably would have had longer run than what they had. Man, Suge was just a bully, man. Suge to me, and Suge didn't do anything for the music, and like for hip hop, Suge didn't do anything for hip hop for real. Like somebody thinks that Suge made a positive contribution to hip hop, I'd want to hear it because like, could you make the argument like he forced Dre out of Death Row, and then you
Mm.
look at like the downward spiral that Death Row essentially ended up doing. That like if Dre would have still stuck around and everything like that, like I don't even like you hear Snoop talk like part of me, like, I know Daz at times had negative things to say about Dre, but I think that's because Daz was
I think you
tripping
just
on
got
some
to
of the
ride that
production things.
train.
Yeah, and then someone might be like, what was Suge put it in your ear to say, hey Daz, you producing, you ain't getting no credit. Like, but Daz, what did Dre do? I mean, what did Suge do for you after Dre left?
Mm.
Like, like I don't know anything about like I guess the most positive thing you could say he did was he bailed Tupac out of jail. Nobody else was willing to put up the bail. And then he died 10 months later. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that'd probably be the one. I guess you could say
The positive
positive.
things kind of, the negative things kind of outweigh the positive,
Yeah,
if that makes sense. I mean, because I will say one thing I did like that he did was he was able to get easy Dre uh, out of the Ruthless contract, even though there was
oh
certain
yeah,
money that had to go directly to him, or that had to go back to Ruthless Records. So I mean that would have helped, but I
and
felt
then
like,
turned around and forced Dre out of Death Row.
but then that part, it's like and honestly, I don't know, man. So, like, I can't speak on gang culture or anything like that because I'm not totally familiar with that. But I think sometimes with pride in general, um, I feel like some conversations could have been had to make things right with Dre. I
Yeah,
think Dre, honestly, in from seeing interviews and stuff like that, and then adding movies and stuff like that, like it seemed as if Dre was fed up with everything that was happening. Like Dre
yeah,
wasn't like Dre didn't necessarily. I wouldn't think that he wanted to leave Death Row because he left Death Row with nothing. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Nah,
So it's just like I don't know, man.
but I
Could you
feel
think?
like
Could
Dre,
you say
from
it's
what
more
I
harm than
understood,
good?
Dre,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like for the couple good things Suge did, they came at a heavy cost.
Mm-hmm.
Like like you said, the negative outweighs the bad, and like, cause kind of what you're saying, like, yeah, Easy and Dre were like beefing and everything, and like you got should basically strong armed Easy to get him out that contract. I,
Mm.
so maybe you don't get that for I don't know, uh, or maybe to like you said, maybe at some point Easy Dre they sit in a room and they actually talk things through, and they might still have a beef, but like, nah, come okay, yeah, Dre, I'm gonna let you out, but you gotta give me X amount, which ultimately you ended up doing anyway. But who knows? Maybe the cut that Easy would have been a little bit bigger because he didn't have Suge strong arming him. Suge don't bail Pac out of jail. Does Pac ever have an affiliation with Death Row? Like, um, because for all intents and purposes, it didn't seem like anybody's willing to put up the bail to get him out. It's. I mean, shit. Like I said, he did those couple things where you like, but then you like, you just look at all the other shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like Suge was like, Suge to me is kind of just like,
He was a bully,
yeah, he was
but
a bully who,
I do think some of the bullying was needed, but I don't think like you needed to put people in harm's way. Like I saw something that he had beat up Sam Snead. It
yeah,
was like, dog, what the fuck? Like, Sam Snead didn't even get a chance. I think he might have ended up dropping his album. I think he dropped the album. I think was it. I want to say he was in high school, but he was in high school or just after high school. I can't remember. But you know, he beat up Sam Snead off of it was like some dumb shit. I forgot the reason behind it, but Corrupt was talking about that on some interview, talking about like, yeah, Sam Snead, you know, no, it wasn't Corrupt. It was DJ Quick that was talking about it, talking about like, yeah, Sam Snead showed up to the studio essentially, and then Suge told him, told everybody to kind of leave the room and shit, and they just beat him down and wouldn't let him out the room and shit. So
Shit to me is like you said that you probably needed like an enforcer,
mhm.
man. But at some point, somebody, man, they let the enforcer think that he could run a record label, and they let him. Like it almost be like if Draymond Green, like
Luca Brasi.
yeah, like man, if Luke Rossi, man, he out here killing people, and then somehow, man, he somehow throwing himself up to take the crown from Michael Corleone, and you
Mhm.
sitting here like, yo, like he ain't supposed to run this
Luca, you got to
family,
calm
like
down, man.
yeah, like, and at this point now you done gave Luca too much power that
Mhm.
now Mikey Corleone leaving to go start a new crime family in Cali or
Run his
something
own
because
Godfather
he
business or else.
he got pushed out of New York. Like it's like, come on now, man. Like, but he get to that point where he get too much power, and it's like, shit. Now you too scared. Now you and Suge's the big enforcer, so you ain't got nobody to come put Suge in check. Like
Hmm.
your best bet is like you should have had a good relationship with his mama, so you could have brought his mama in to calm him down. But I should, you know, you ain't supposed to be doing this to them. These your friends, baby. Stop hanging on my windows.
Yeah, I still feel like the Tupac thing, and it's crazy how Tupac is mostly associated to death row, and
Mhm.
he literally was only on death row for 10 months, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me. You know, so I don't know. I mean, death row had its impact. I
No,
do feel like
definitely.
if they had left the beef alone, it would have been because it didn't feel like Snoop was a part of the beef.
Yeah.
Corrupt, Daz. If you look at it from a big, like a big picture, it just seemed like it was just Pac and Suge against Puff and Biggie, whereas Puff and Biggie didn't even care to be a part of the back and forth and
About the
shit. But
beef. Yeah.
so I don't know. So
Exactly.
how do you feel about Lottie Dottie?
I like it. It's cool. It's the remake of the Slick Joint. I like it, man. It's cool. It's the with it's cool, man. It's a storyteller, man, and it's the little remake of the, like I said, the Slick Rick Joint, man. And he's like, go ask my mama with your wrinkled pussy. I can't be your lover. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
it's cool.
The bitch been around before my mother was born.
Yeah, it's
I
it's one of those songs.
taking a hit. Like you
Yeah,
can't have me. I'm too young for you, bitch.
it's one of those songs that when you look at the track list, and you're like, ah, Lottie Dottie's okay. And then like some of these songs where you look at them, you're like, oh yeah, and you ain't listened to the album in a couple years. You like, oh yeah, Lottie Dottie was okay. And you thinking to yourself, oh, this might be one when I get to, I'll skip it. And then when you get to it, you're not skipping. You're like, nah,
Yeah, it's a
this
nice
song is
song. It rides
yeah.
well. The beat's dope. Um,
Mhm.
surprise. Like I was just the older Slick Rick, and it's funny. I was having a conversation the other day about about Slick Rick children. Was it not children? Is it children? No, not children's story. What's the other song you had? Dave the dope fiend shooting dope who don't know the meaning of water nor soap.
I know who
Uh,
you talking about. What song is that? I know what song you talking about. I can't think of it. You sure that's not Children's Story?
is it? I thought children's story had a. I think it might. Yeah, I think it is. No, I can't think of it. Well, it might be.
It was like a bedtime story you was saying, right?
Yeah, yeah, because the and I was explaining. I was like, yo, if you listen to it, like that dude got shot. That dude got murdered by the police. Like if you
Yeah, damn, you right.
like, and this is how we're going to end this story. He was only 17 in the bad man's dream. Like, and they got murdered. And we just be doing the WAP or doing the Running Man doing this shit. It's
like, dang, this song dope. Where do you pay attention? But like, yo, it's like out here talking about like police brutality at the highest level.
Yeah, my bad for sidetracking, but I was having a conversation about that the other day. I was like, yeah, this song is actually pretty sad.
Yeah.
So,
I think that
but what we
was
got
too.
next? We got Murder Was the Case. For some reason it got it featuring Daz. Maybe it got him featuring him as a producer because I don't remember Daz rapping on this song. But
No, I don't either.
so let me ask you this question first before you jump into it. Which one did you like more? The one that was on the Murder Was the Case soundtrack or the one on the album? Because they had different beats.
No, they did. I don't know. I think I like this one better, but I'll be like, I haven't listened to the soundtrack version in some years, and so it might be just that this one is fresh in my mind because I do remember the soundtrack one not being bad. If I remember, it seems like it was the beat was cool, but it seemed like it was just
It was more chaotic.
a lot more going on with the beat.
Going in on it. I like it, but I was listening to it. I was like, it's just a lot of. It was like murder, and then it was like,
That's right.
And all this shit. It was all over the place. It was a good song though, but I think I like this one more because this one fit more within the album. You know, within the album structure. You know, like if that one was on this album, it wouldn't fit. It was a good song, but it wouldn't fit within the flow of the album, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I'm not sure why I got Daz featured on it, but yeah, this is when he was going through his murder. Well, actually, this is before his murder trial. But then I think the Murders of Case soundtrack was around the time when he was going through the trial. Guys, remember he say something like, what did he say? He say, "Forgive me, I didn't do it," or something like that. On was it the MTV Awards or something like that?
Oh yeah, that was MTV. He was like, "I'm innocent. I'm innocent." Shut up, dog. Get off the stage.
That nigga was guilty though. like, this is a funny thing about crime, man. Like y'all niggas could not glorify crime. It did get mad. Don't get me wrong, I fuck with Snoop, but y'all niggas could not glorify crime. And then try to denounce it when y'all about to get in trouble. And honestly, if he didn't, and now this is a good part about Suge got him the right lawyers, kept him. I mean, I think he was doing it just because he knew that the value of Snoop, but at the same time, it was like he did make sure that dude didn't do no time, and he had didn't he have OJ lawyer?
Maybe that. I'm not talking about Cochran. You talking about the other one, right? The white boy.
Yeah, the dude, the Kardashian.
Kenner? No, Dave Kenner came later. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, but Kenner. I think it was Kenner. I thought it was Kenner.
Okay, because I know he was a long time deferral lawyer.
Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember. Got to look that up. But yeah, it was. But yeah, he kept him out of jail, and but like I said, man, we got to stop.
Oh yeah, it was David Kenner.
Yeah, we got to stop glorifying the things, and then when we get caught up, be like, but I didn't do it because I looked at the case. It was something like he went there with the bodyguard and ended up shooting the other dude. It wasn't Snoop, per se that shot him, but
It seems like it's someone. From what I'm remembering, it's been so long since I remember hearing about that case. But I don't know if this is how Stoop's camp tried to spin it. Was like, I think they're trying to make it a self-defense thing. But like, for instance, I don't know if dude. It seems like I remember them thinking dude was pulling a gun out.
Mm-hmm.
And I see. Let me stop because I don't want somebody to take this to be like, we all got Google. Y'all can Google it to figure out what it was. But I feel like that's how they tried to spin it. But like you said, it's interesting about some of these. I feel like we get sidetracked on some of these. But like, you forget, like 30 years ago, Snoop was like facing the murder charge. But then I think about like Ray Lewis.
I'm about to say Ray Lewis is facing one.
Ray Lewis killed somebody.
Ray Lewis murdered nigga.
Yeah. And now we like, where Snoop did actually go to trial for the murder, got acquitted. Like Ray Lewis, I think took a plea for like an obstruction of justice or something like that. Like, but it was kind of like, no, he did that shit. And
Yeah.
like now it's like Ray Lewis is like it's one of those things like these kind of things, like things that you don't, that almost you had to be alive and aware of the situation to know. Like you had to be there and not you had to be a Snoop fan in '93. Like if I were to say to my nephew who's 14, like, hey, Snoop called a murder charge. Like, for one, he probably ain't he gonna be like Snoop who? Like, or
Your nephew would not know who Ray Lewis is at all.
yeah, Ray Lewis, he ain't gonna know at all. Like even my
He
old
would not know who LT is. He would not know.
nah, like it's like crazy how like some of these things don't follow. Like it's funny, like we remember these things, but like it's
Vividly.
almost like
Like I remember
yeah,
OJ trial. Like I remember that shit. Damn, I remember taking a Wait, was that? No, that wasn't high school. That was college, wasn't it?
no, yeah. I know the verdict came out our freshman year because I remember this dude in my dorm, an
Yeah.
Indian dude. When the verdict was announced, he was like, "Eddie, what do you think the verdict's gonna be?" Now, mind you, like I didn't follow the old OJ verdict, similar how I don't follow stuff now. Like I was even more tuned out
Nobody cares.
on
I
the
mean, that shit
OJ
was on
thing.
that shit was on there. I remember the car being
This was
driven.
all yeah, because we was watching the playoff game. Like,
I
but
do
like
remember that.
I remember the dude in my dorm. He was like, "Man, he's like, this dude told me, I'm not leaving your room until you tell me." I was like, "Yo, Punkage, you don't get the fuck out of my room. I'll beat your ass." He
Get the
left my
fuck
room
out,
without
pocket.
hearing, like, he left my room without hearing what my thoughts were. Like, but like, oh no,
That's
nah,
funny.
just stand on that. But nah, so I think OJ's followed his for the rest of his life. But that was special. Like, I mean, it's something that I think are just gonna be the stamp of what people are known for. Like R. Kelly gonna be known for underage girls. It don't matter what happened. Now he locked up for it, but it's gonna
Speaking of that, we
follow him.
should do 12 play.
Which I look, I don't. There's and I understand people that can't like separate
Man,
the
fuck that.
person from the music. Now, because to me, if you went through something similar to like what R. Kelly has been accused or convicted of doing, like I all I say to people is, as far as entertainers, athletes, all that, there's a lot of them that have done problematic things.
Mhm.
And if don't don't chastise me for rocking with like say R. Kelly, but then you tell me that like, oh, I love James Brown though, and James Brown was up and beating women's ass. Like if you're gonna get rid of everybody that's done something problematic, if you're gonna get rid of one, then you should get rid of all. If you're gonna condemn people who are still fans of people, like
I
to
look
me,
at
like
stuff like I look at it like this, bro. If you if you have any faith in a religion, then you should understand that you're not the judge of anybody.
I
And
agree with you on that.
we could talk about it from Diddy. You know what I'm saying? People was like, oh man, he should have got. I was like, there's no way Diddy should have got a racketeering charge. Like, no, there's no way in hell he should have got a racketeering charge. Or these other like even the one that he is up for the Mann Act or whatever, or transporting prostitution over state lines and stuff like that. It's like, man, yeah, y'all want to be flued out. But you know what I'm saying? The stuff that that nigga just flying out gay niggas to fuck chicks. Like that that's all these. Not to say that it's right or it's wrong. I don't care. Like I don't care enough about Diddy to be like, he should be under the jail. I think sometimes perception in public affects people's opinion of, like, I was talking to someone, they were saying how he should be because he's a despicable person. I was like, you don't know Puff. I was like, only thing you know is these people testifying that damn near, I'm pretty sure, have not clauses, but they have get out of jail free rights to testify against Puffy. So I feel like most of them will say anything and tell everything. And
Right.
honestly, too, for these famous people, like I said, I don't understand why R. Kelly was fucking with the young chicks and anything like that. But it's like these niggas live a whole different life than I live. Like I'm not on Puffy's level. I'm poorer than R. Kelly, and I'm free. You know, like, it's
Yeah.
just what it is. It's like, I care less about. I mean, I don't mind talking about the things, but at the same time, like, I'm not a judge of, like, it's almost what Huey was saying, where he was saying, like, take his camcorder away.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, yeah, like, that's what it is. Like, it doesn't matter it don't matter to me. Like I said, I feel for the victims and stuff like that, but sometimes I feel like we give too much credit to the victims and not enough blame.
Yeah,
Um,
but R. Kelly shouldn't have been fucking younger. It's underage.
yeah,
Under 18.
I mean, but even, I mean, look, I remember in high school, it was niggas, the drug dealers and stuff like that. Not to say that they were all drug dealers, but I seen niggas picking up motherfuckers, like, they went in school. You know what I'm saying? They was adults. You know what I'm saying? Picking up high schoolers. You know what I'm saying?
They
So
wasn't right either.
no. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that it's right. But I'm saying is, like, it comes from a culture that you was, like, I feel like some people were cool with until
No,
it
that's
got.
the thing. Yeah,
So
people are cool with it till it gets brought to the light, and they like, oh no, we condemn it. Yeah, but like
mhm.
they should have been condemned. Like the men, and not even necessarily drug dealers, just grown men that are like 25 stalking like high school, coming up to
Yeah,
high school to stalk girls. Like y'all was wrong, but like you said, it gets accepted in the culture till it doesn't get accepted anymore. So it's kind of, I get kind of what you're saying. Like, hey, R. Kelly wasn't the only one.
yeah,
And like R. Kelly shouldn't necessarily be the only one that goes down, but he's gonna be the one that goes down because he's R. Kelly. Uh, now I say, just going back to the music, like my thing about canceling people for the music or whatever, like say Bill Cosby and the Cosby Show, like individually, I don't care what anybody does. We all got a reason for. If you don't want to listen to somebody for whatever reason, then that's fine to me. My only thing is, don't try to tell everybody else what they should do. And if I said to you, you still rock with R. Kelly, don't tell me why I'm wrong for still listening to R. Kelly.
man, fuck
Just you
that
could
dude.
tell me I don't agree with you, and that's
Yeah,
cool.
but you ain't
And
gotta agree
don't
with me
make me
either, though.
feel,
Like,
yeah,
just let me be me. Don't hate on what I like. Like, it's okay for me to like R. Kelly's music and not think about pedophile shit, whereas you think about pedophile shit and you want me to think about the pedophile shit
yeah,
at the
like
same
it's
time. Don't try to force my. It's almost like say for instance Bill Cosby, right? The Cosby Show, and we go jump back to the next track is a serial killer, but the thing about it is just like with the Bill thing, I probably wouldn't have went to college if I hadn't seen a Cosby Show or Different World or anything like that.
right.
And that was primarily influenced by that show. I'm not saying that it was 100%, but that shit was at least 25% of the main reason. I was like, oh, college seems cool. That's what you're supposed to do. I
Right.
mean, because we were seeing all these other things. Like, it was so many depictions of not going to college that it was like we saw something and then we kind of gravitated to it and it's like, okay, that's what I want to do. So I don't want anybody to try to take away that 25% of how I feel about Bill just because of slipping a Mickey in somebody's drink. You know,
Right.
like, you know, and even on top of that, like I said, it was a different lifestyle, different times at that time too. So, people in the 70s and all that shit, them niggas was high all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
Mm.
and the one thing that always triggered me about the Bill Cosby thing, it was like, I remember I was listening or I was reading this one person's or one accuser's thing about him. She was saying, yeah, we was in a relationship for 8 months. And I'm like, you was in a relationship with
Right.
him for 8 months?
Right.
And like that shit is like it's almost like the Louis C.K. thing. Dave Chappelle commented on it, but the Louis C.K. thing where he was talking about masturbating over the phone. He was like, she could have just hung up. Like,
Yeah. Now that's the wild part. Well, that Louis C.K. one was
yeah,
like
I don't
you
know,
you
man.
you won't be a force. Like it wasn't even like you was in the room with the door locked. Like, we on the phone.
Shit,
Hang up.
Tucker from Michigan State, nigga.
Yeah. Him
Nigga, that was,
too.
they said it was a 35-minute conversation.
I'm like, man, you ain't disconnecting.
And
Like,
you sit up here like I mean, like I said, sometimes like I'm never going to victim blame, but sometimes I just feel like the victims don't. I, it,
some
Because
of it all depends.
no,
Like
it's
the
tricky because
military.
honestly, if Shaka
Yeah.
Khan came around and I'm 16, 15 years old and she feeling me, should I remember saying? I remember this. I want to say his name, but I remember this dude. This dude I went to school with was fucking a fucking teacher, our English teacher at Bunker and shit. And that nigga had to been like 16 years old. Like we all knew he was on the basketball team when he got this the Big Reds or whatever, but like he was literally fucking the eighth grade English teacher at Bunker.
We're not talking about that off podcast. I ain't never heard this story.
I'll tell you about it.
I went to steal though.
But it's funny too. Like Brian actually said his name on the podcast, but whatever. So anyway,
Now you going back and listen
Santana
to
was
those
fucking the English
podcasts.
teacher and shit.
Damn, man, why? Now I know who you talking about.
Santana was fucking the English teacher. But anyway, let's jump back into it. Let's get back to
we can take it off the pot. Hey,
we can talk about that another time.
he don't know me. I just know him by name. So it's cool.
Yes, motherfucking Santana. Okay, so